If you've built up a £1 million portfolio, chances are you seriously considering retirement. In this video, I'll walk you through your options if you're 60 years old with £1 million saved up and asking, when can I retire? Hi, I'm Simon Alexander, founder of Streamlined Financial Planning, and I work with people to help them plan and manage their finances in retirement. Today, we're looking at a real life case of a 60-year-old couple who came to us wondering if they could retire. I'll show the guidance we gave them so you can see if it might apply to your own situation. Of course, names and figures have been adjusted for privacy, but the scenario is real. So let's dive in and have a look. This is Steve and Sarah. They're both 60 and came to us asking, can we retire today? To help them answer that, we guided them through a process to see where they stand, and if they're not quite there, what simple steps might help them make retirement a reality. First, let's look at their assets. Steve has a defined contribution pension worth $350K, and Sarah has $370K in her pension. They also have stocks and shares ISAs totaling $125K each, and a cash savings account of about $50K. All their accounts are invested in line with a moderately conservative approach, and they have never taken much interest in what they invest in. And as a matter of fact, their pensions were invested in lifestyle funds, which automatically move you to less growth assets the closer you get to your retirement age. Their home is valued at about $650K, and they have recently paid off their mortgage. So excluding the home, they have about £1 million in their retirement portfolio. So that's a quick snapshot of their financial position. Next, let's look at Steve and Sarah's retirement goals. Their main question was whether they could retire now, or at the very least, see what their financial picture might look like if they did. They hadn't spent much time planning out exactly what they want to do in retirement, but their starting point was simple. Could they maintain their current lifestyle, which costs around £5,000 per month? Currently, they're both working. Steve earns $95K and Sarah earns around $85K. But for this plan, we'll set their current income aside to see if they can afford to retire today. Looking ahead, Steve's state pension will kick in at the age of 67. He's contributed the full 35 years, so he received the maximum state pension amount. And the same applies to Sarah. Up until now, Steve and Sarah have each been contributing around 6% of their income into their workplace pensions, with their employers matching those contributions. So they've been building up their pensions steadily. But since they want to see if they can retire today, we're going to assume that these pension contributions stop. So to summarize, Steve and Sarah, both 60 with £1 million in their retirement portfolio, and a goal to maintain a £5,000 per month lifestyle in retirement. To achieve this, they'll need to draw from the combination of their defined contribution pensions and ISAs and eventually factor in their state pension income. As you probably picked up, they have 7 years until their state pensions start. So portfolio needs to fund the expenditure requirements in full until the age of 67. So let's model this scenario as if they retired today and see how it all plays out. To see if Steve and Sarah's retirement plan is affordable, we'll compare their retirement inflows, like portfolio withdrawals and future state pension income, to their outflows, which are essentially their living expenses. Since we're assuming they retire immediately, we won't set their employment income to zero. For the first 7 years, they'll have no new income, as their state pension won't begin until age 67, but their living expenses start now. So this table shows that they have no earned income or defined benefit or annuity income, just withdrawals from their defined contribution, pensions, and ISAs. Their state pension will kick in at age 67, providing a guaranteed inflation-linked income for life. Steve and Sarah's aim to maintain a lifestyle costing £5,000 per month, adjusted annually for inflation, so their spending needs will gradually rise. Taxes are also a key factor. So to achieve a net £5,000 per month income, we'll factor in estimated taxes on their withdrawals. Currently, the model assumes proportional withdrawals from various accounts for each year, which isn't necessarily tax efficient, but provides a baseline for understanding retirement feasibility before we optimize their tax strategy. On the needs projection chart, we can see this in action. The expenses are rising with inflation each year, along with a red section at the top showing estimated annual taxes. We want to check if Steve and Sarah's withdrawals are sustainable. So we factored in some growth on the investments, which are more on the conservative side, as well as regular withdrawals. And we'll see how this affects their retirement portfolio over time. There are two key things to look at here. First, the retirement score. This is the percentage of total funds needed that are expected to be available at the beginning of retirement. It's important to note that this isn't a Monte Carlo simulation, but rather a snapshot of how funded they are at the start. So in Steve and Sarah's case, their score is only 65%, which suggests a potential shortfall, since a score below 100% means they're likely underfunded for retirement. In other words, they don't have enough in pensions and ISAs to cover their expenses for the entire retirement, which we are assuming is the age of 95. Now, if we project their portfolio over time, they'll enjoy their first several years of retirement. But with a portfolio that steadily declines each year, they could be out of money by the early 80s. And that's something we obviously want to avoid. So you might look at this and think, well, if someone with £1 million can't retire securely, what does that mean for me? Well, retirement can feel daunting, and it might seem like some big changes are needed to make it affordable. Now, the first objective to secure your retirement is to save and invest so you have enough to live off. But the purpose of this video is to show you how even small adjustments can have a huge impact on the sustainability of your retirement plan. So let's go back to Steve and Sarah's plan and explore what changes they could make under the same assumptions. So retiring today with £1 million and have a £5,000 per month spending goal adjusted for inflation, and they receive their full state pension at the age of 67. So let's see what happens if we adjust a few of these assumptions. During our financial planning process, Steve and Sarah shared that while they enjoy work, their demands of their current roles are becoming quite challenging. They can see themselves working for a couple more years, and we agreed that they delay their retirement age to 62. So by working just 2 more years, they'll keep building their pensions and ISAs while avoiding withdrawing from their portfolio for longer and allowing it to continue to grow and benefit from compounding investment returns. So this simple change boosts their retirement score to 78%, so a 13% increase. The projected portfolio also looks healthier, though there's still a slight shortfall. Remember, the 78% retirement score shows what percentage of their retirement is funded, meaning these will still have about a 22% shortfall. Next, we've considered part-time work. Now, I support a phased approach to retirement because it offers many benefits. So working provides routine, structure, and a sense of community. Well, I'm not suggesting you work forever. It can ease the transition into retirement. In Steve and Sarah's case, they have always wanted to contribute at their local animal charity and would expect around £15,000 each per year. Well, they hope to earn more. We agreed on a lower estimate just to be cautious. And they plan to do this part-time work for 3 years, so fully retiring at age 65. And this adjustment brings their retirement score up to 83%. So we've assumed Steve and Sarah will need £5,000 per month until age 95. However, studies show that as we get older, we spend gradually less. On average, from the age of 65, spending typically declines progressively and is about 35% lower at age 80. The reduction in retirees' expenditure closely follows the trend in the US, where retirees' expenditure increases each year, but less than the rate of inflation. In fact, around 1% less than the rate of inflation, with a possible increase in later years for long-term care. So if expenses grow more slowly than inflation, they'll need less from their portfolio over time, which preserves their funds and, in this case, pushes their retirement score to 105%. So by the end of their retirement, they're projected to be absolutely okay. Getting the right asset allocation and investment portfolio is really important. And in Steve and Sarah's case, they have got it completely wrong. So as mentioned already, they are invested in lower growth assets. So some cash, majority bonds, and a smaller allocation to equity. Now, this may be suitable for some people, but for Steve and Sarah, they needed their retirement portfolio to last at least 30 years. So we need their portfolio to provide real returns above inflation and to be able to provide withdrawals and not be depleted too soon. They're going to move their portfolio to a more aggressive portfolio, which has a slightly higher allocation to equity, so more growth assets and a lower allocation to fixed income and bonds, which are the defensive assets, but also to improve their diversification of their portfolio, moving it away from being concentrated in the UK to a more globally diversified portfolio. This increases the annual expected rate of return from 4.22% to 5.52% per year. Of course, this is not guaranteed, but over the long term, the chances of them getting a return around that 5.5% per year is relatively high. And what we can see is that by adjusting their portfolio, this increases their retirement score to 128%. Now, the last strategy I want to show you is managing the taxes in retirement. So as we have seen recently from the budget, taxes will always change. And it's important to stay on top of these changes, but also ensure that when you're building wealth for retirement, as well as withdrawing wealth from your portfolio, you need to be doing it in the most tax efficient way. Now, for Steve and Sarah, we're going to make sure that their retirement is tax efficient. They're using their personal allowance, they are drawing down on their pensions in a flexible way, and that they phase the 25% tax-free cash and the taxable income withdrawals from their pensions, and together with the ISA withdrawals, they don't exceed the higher rate tax band. And this increases their retirement score to 131%. In fact, it's projected that they will have around 1.3 million at the end of their retirement in their pensions and ISAs. This is future terms, but if we look at that value in today's value, it is just over £500,000. Their situation has improved significantly. So I asked about their priorities for retirement, how they plan to spend their time, particularly during their active years. They expressed a strong desire to travel, as there are several countries that they'll love to visit. And I suggested allocating a travel expense from the age of 62 to age 75. They agreed with this and loved this idea and decided to budget a monthly cost of around £500 for their travel plans. Given their accumulated wealth and spending an additional £500 per month is completely feasible and does not severely affect their retirement. In fact, it just reduces their score to 121%. So far, we've assumed a constant annual investment return. In reality, investment returns will fluctuate from year to year, ranging anywhere from minus 10% to 7% to 2% to minus 3%. So to get a more accurate picture, we need to assess the plan with varying investment returns. And this is where the volatility analysis comes into play. So it's a type of stress test that runs the plan through 1,000 market simulations. I'll show you the volatility analysis without any strategies applied, so it reflects their current situation. The top chart illustrates the likelihood of Steve and Sarah being able to fund their expenses each year during retirement. The red bars indicate years where there's less than a 60% chance of them covering their costs, suggesting significant adjustments may be necessary. Based on their current situation, it's clear that they wouldn't be able to retire comfortably. The next chart shows the range of total investments over their retirement. So it shows the value of their investments, representing the 5th to 95th percentiles, the 25th to 75th percentiles, and then the middle result. The key takeaway here is the £0 horizontal line. So when results fall below this line, it indicates that they will be out of money and deficits start to accumulate. So unfortunately, we see this happening for Steve and Sarah. Now, let's include the strategies we discussed. So delaying retirement by 2 years, earning a part-time income of £15,000 each until age 65, assuming that expenses will increase at a lower rate than inflation, improving the expected rate of return, tax efficiency, and accounting for an additional £500 per month for travel costs. With these adjustments, the outlook improves significantly. They have a much higher success rate in the simulations, and the chances of them needing to make a major adjustment in retirement are much lower. So we can see this reflected in the range of total investments chart as well. The majority of their results now remain above the £0 line, indicating a healthier portfolio throughout retirement. So that's it. Retirement planning can often seem daunting and overwhelming, with many wondering how they will achieve financial security in their later years. However, small adjustments to your plan can make retirement both affordable as well as sustainable. So by starting your planning process earlier, you can avoid last-minute stress and ensure a more comfortable and enjoyable retirement. So remember, it's never too early to begin preparing for your future. If you found this video useful, please do give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video.